Game of the day. Nonova versus
Hunch.
Javier versus Sasha.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Canton from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you another lively game of the day. Today, folks, we are playing on Rat Race. This is a triple base airport and comm tower support matchup. And we have Hunch and Nonova as our players today, playing as Javier and Sasha. This is a tier 1 matchup, folks. Now, pretty interesting looking little map that we have here, folks. We do have triple base airport and plenty of contested properties to deal with here. This is a very close map. The reinforcement range and bases are very pushed forward for this one, so we can expect a lot of high action combat for this one, folks. That is without a doubt. Now, taking a closer look at the map here, it would appear like there's a base down here and a base right here and a base right here. So this is going to be your standard strong side versus weak side dynamic, but it's not really going to be a too strong side versus weak side because there is a easy reinforcement range over here. Now, it will take a little bit of time to get there due to the forest, but there is also a reinforcement range over here leading to the center of the map, putting immediate pressure over on the HQ. Now, in addition to that, after you capture this little base right here, you could loop around and send your forces this way, or you could join up with the army and assault the HQ. Now, in addition to that, an infantry will have to go all the way over here, over the mountain, in order to capture that airport. Or, alternatively, you could capture the airport going this route as well. So, more than likely, we are going to be seeing lots and lots of combat on this map, folks. Now, there is going to be brawling in the center. There is going to be a brawling over here. There is going to be brawling over here. Everywhere in the center of this map is going to be a war zone, folks. So I think we're going to have a fantastic match here, folks. Without further ado, let's go ahead and see what went down in the live league today. On the first few days, folks, you all know the deal. It is the standard infantry builds, because you gotta get the infantry on the field, folks. It's the #1 priority in Advanced Wars by Web. #2 priority in Advanced Wars by Web is make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for all that hot, lively action, folks. Now, to me, it looks like Nonova is going immediately for the airport. Now, he might be going for the airport right away. He might not. But considering that he is playing Sasha, one of the benefits of Sasha is she does get that extra funds. So she can easily go up and get that airport and then start spamming out air units faster than any other CO. But Nonova does not go immediately for the airport. He decides to capture the property instead. Income is key in Advanced Wars by Web. You do need to have that money in order to buy those units, get those tech ups, get those tanks, get those artillery. Although I wouldn't suggest really relying on artillery too heavily against a CO like Javier, who's got increased defenses against indirect units. However, folks, it is not necessarily a bad idea to buy some indirects when you're fighting against Javier, because it can assist in wall breaking, and it will defend your units, folks. So, if you deem it necessary in the long run to bust out a few artillery along the way, I wouldn't necessarily say no, but it is good to focus on direct combat units when you fight the Javier. Now, it would appear that Javier has now captured the comm tower, which gives him that additional offense and defense, but Nonova not letting it bother him, folks. However, Hunch has interrupted the capture, and so has Nonova. So Income is already being dispersed here, folks. Oh, interesting little attack here. We have a double attack from the infantry up north. Very crafty hit indeed. Nonova, or Hunch actually, sending the tank forward to assist in this little attack here. Now that is going to be very strong. It is possible for Nonova to go in here and take a tank strike, but without any additional backup, it will be very difficult to win that fight, folks. All right, it looks like the airport is definitely going to be acquired here soon. Infantry is going for the retreat, and tanks sitting on the HQ. Very strong position for the tank to be on the HQ. That does give 4-star terrain, folks. That is 40% defense. You don't really want to be attacking a tank on the HQ unless you have some sort of massive damage potential, folks. I'm talking about like 2-hit potential. And maybe even with some additional backup here, folks. But Hunch retreating partially now and KOing the infantry. This puts Hunch in a very, very good position overall. He's definitely leading the game at the moment, even if he is behind on funds. Tank to tank action over here, folks, backing it up with another tank and sending the infantry forward up north, busting out the mechanized infantry has entered the battlefield. The macho mech Randy Savage over here, folks. Let's see what he manages to do. Day 8 is upon us, and Hunch, continuing those captures, brings one of the tanks way far north to strike the infantry down. And that is a fantastic hit indeed, because that one will not... well, actually will go unpunished, is what I'm trying to say. But it's not like, you know, he's not going to get hit. He's not going to get hit is what I'm saying. Tank's out of range. This tank's out of range. Now, very good awareness over here for Hunch to actually retreat this attack. He doesn't really want to attack into this because he's going to be attacking into mech reinforcement range. So if you bring too many tanks forward, the mechs are just going to start flowing out and you're going to have negative trades there, folks. So not too shabby retreating at that point. Plus, puts him in a very, very good spot for assaulting the HQ. Nonova has 3 tanks down south, 1 tank up north, and 3 properties are being capped up north right now by Hunch. One of them is definitely interruptible. 2 of them are technically interruptible. And we get those interrupts, folks. Oh, and we got a tank strike, 7-5 trade right now. Mech going into the center and forming a little infantry wall here with an additional tank. Hunch, day 9. It's very close to a co-power, folks, but if you cannot get the co-power first against Sasha, you won't be getting that co-power for a little while. All right, clears a few infantry here, brings a few more infantry forward, and sacrifices the tank. Sacrifices the tank. Very interesting indeed. Sacrifices the tank. I don't think he's going to be able to get a tower shield. So it's a very curious sacrifice right there. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. That does result in the loss of a tank, and plus the sacrifice tank. That is kind of unfortunate, losing 2 tanks out of that engagement. All right, a few more infantry taking the front line here, doing the attacks. Infantry up north doing some damage here. Nonova busts out another mech and a battlecopter this turn, folks. The air units have entered the fray. Let's see. Let's see what those air units managed to do here. All right, we got a tank engagement over here from Hunch. Another tank engagement. Doing pretty good overall. Now, however, let me just take a quick gander. Okay, so that anti-air is in position to go right here. So if the battlecopter decides to go in and attack, he will have that blocker. But the issue right now is Nonova has 2-hit potential over here. So he could retreat the tank, attack with the tank, or attack with the 9 HP tank would actually be the better of the 2 moves. Probably even the better of the 3 moves. What you could do is you could forego this capture here and attack the tank with the mech. bring this tank down, continue to attack the infantry, bring the battlecopter forward, clear the tank, bring this tank forward, clear this tank, and then you are in a very, very solid position down south. But whether or not Nonova is going to go for a move like that, we don't know, folks. It's day 10, and Hunch is down to 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. Not doing very good for time right now. Oh, brings the tank down south. Okay. So, all in all, I still think that this 2-hit potential tank clear with the mech will be very good. And then you can still strike the 6 HP tank. Let's see what he does. Goes in with the 9, goes in with the battlecopter, goes in with the tank. Alright, so he does it that way, and he's going to go for the property instead. Okay, so it's fine. It's fine. I like the attack either way, so it's not too bad. What the heck just happened here? So pops the co-power. Sacrifices the 4 HP tank to get co-power, then pops the co-power. Alright, and then follows up with the tank. Nice. Not too bad at all. So this attack was pretty good overall. You know, I wouldn't say anything negative about it necessarily. I think we could have probably cleared an extra infantry down here and foregone this capture here. But, I mean, all in all, pretty good push in general. Pretty good push for Nonova. Not too shabby at all. Let's see what Hunch is going to do in order to counter such a push, because that did do quite a bit of damage overall. Few infantry have been cleared. Oh, threatening a capture right now. So now Nonova's tank is going to have to be occupied in preventing that capture. Otherwise, he's going to lose the property. And he busts out the classiest unit in advancements by Web, folks. The classy medium tank has entered the fray. Now, Hunch at 22 units to Nonova's 15. Definitely ahead in unit count, but the value is lacking at the moment. Definitely lost quite a few tanks so far. So let's see if Nonova can capitalize on the momentum of having more income, more army value, and really lay it into Hunch here. Definitely clearing multiple infantry up north, and that does put a dent in the unit count. Clears one more infantry down south and busts out a second battlecopter. Just 2 battlecopters on the field. Now all of a sudden, Nonova 19 units to Hunch's 18 units and 45,000 value to 66-2. It's pretty good, but he's got the classiest unit in advancements by Web, folks. Let's see if this little classy fella can really make the difference as he busts out a power. He's got the tower shield, folks. That is going to be a whole heap of defense here. So let's see if he can manage to do a solid push. Doesn't really get necessarily a solid push, but he forms a solid line. It is going to be very difficult for Nonova to push into that line. Doesn't really have too many attacks overall. There's definitely a battlecopter attack here that could be done. Maybe even could potentially clear the tanks and keep the battlecopter back. But without additional battlecopter support or an anti-air, battlecopter is not going to win overall against Hunch's airport over here. But that will require Hunch to continuously pump out air units over here, which is going to hinder the momentum of the south here. So very curious to see how this one is going to go. All right, we got a tank hit, got another tank hit, mech hit, tank clear, and another tank hit. Nice. Not too shabby at all. Very defensive over here from Nonova. Mech into anti-air. Sacrifice. Just to do 2 damage. Ooh. Do. Hunch, 46,800 value at the moment. What is he going to do? What will he be able to do with that kind of value? He does have the classiest unit in advances by Web. Leading the charge here, folks. Let's see. See what he does here. Yeah, definitely back that up with another battlecopter, folks. Hunch on increment. Forced to make some very, very quick thinking moves. Nonova leaves The battlecopter exposed to the anti-air attack. However, that does expose the anti-air to a mech attack. Was it intentional? It could have been. It could have been. I mean, eliminating the anti-air could be a very good play, folks. It could. But will it be? That is the question. Nonova being very, very passive with the tanks down south, too. I mean, at the moment, there's not really a whole lot that can do, like, big damage to the tanks. I mean, the classiest unit is here. So it could switch down south, but the medium tank's only going to be able to go one way. So now might be a good time for Nonova to do an attack down south. Uses the infantry to clear the anti-air. Very nice. All right, and he is going to go in for those attacks down south. Very safe attacks. There's definitely very little repercussions for that. Hunch does not really have a whole lot of units down south at the moment. And brings the tanks up north to continue the assault on the infantry, and actually joins one of the units together and busts out the classy boy of the sky. Folks, the bomber has entered the fray. Now, this bomber could not have come at a better time here, folks. Bomber, super threatening to the medium tank. And Hunch with 16,900 funds to work with does not really have a whole lot of answers. He doesn't have a whole lot of responses to the bomber at the moment. He could bust out another anti-air, but he's going to be forced to buy anti-air all over the place pretty soon because the bomber can just go wherever it wants. Let's see what his response is going to be. Medium tank going up north, getting the heck away from the bomber. Very nice. Bust out a second anti-air. I have a feeling the second anti-air is definitely going to be going up north, folks, but Hunch once again is out of time. Multiple infantry are being deleted right now as the bomber finds a perfect spot to sit where it is not going to be damaged whatsoever and busts out another market crash at the end of the turn here. Things are looking very, very strong for Nonova. And another capture could potentially be going through here. However, Nonova has 15 properties to Hunch's 18 at the moment. And one of the best things about Sasha is being able to have more income. So if your opponent has more captures, more properties than you do, it's not the best thing. Definitely got to get a flip of a property here. All right, medium tank gets the clear. We got an infantry on infantry engagement. Takes out the battlecopter. Is that out of anti-air range, though? That is the biggest question. It is not. It is not out of anti-air range. The anti-air is going to be going up here and just having its way with this battlecopter here very, very soon. Quite unfortunate indeed. Oh, you know what? I think we need to calculate this here, folks, because this looks like it might have been pretty flippin' risky. All right, so this is a 7 HP tank at the moment here, folks. So we'll go in and do this engagement here. This is 20 to 23%. Takes it down to 5, which is pretty much what you would expect. So now this is at 5, and we sacrifice a 1 HP tank into it. It's going to do 5 damage. And it doesn't do anything. So this is sitting at probably pretty close to 50. It takes an anti-air. 23 to 31%. All right, so no, there was absolutely no chance of that actually working. But that's a pretty big attack. That's actually quite large. That's pretty large. Is there potential for like the 3 HP infantry to attack? Let's see. 1 to 3, probably not. What would the 4 HP infantry do? 2 to 5? It probably wouldn't work. All right, but one can dream. One can dream for sure, folks. Now, if this tank did fall, though, that would leave it so the 7 HP infantry could potentially destroy the 5 HP infantry, leading the anti-air in to attack the bomber. So this could have went terribly wrong for Nonova, but it could still. You never know. Let's see what happens. Sacrifice, always going in. Is it going to work? No. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Unfortunately, the numbers just don't really work out here. It was a lot of really small numbers that somehow managed to take it down to 1. So this guy's probably on the high end of 1 HP right now. So you would need like a roll of like at least 9 or something like that in order to actually KO it. So yeah, very unfortunate indeed. But oh, this actually doesn't work. Okay, you know what? Whatever. Whatever, folks. It was not meant to work in the long run here. So is what it is. Although I don't really like this this position too much because there's a tank hit on the anti-air and then the bomber can loop around and attack the anti-air as well, doing pretty respectable damage. So this is under severe threat right now. Super threat, super threatening. But will Nonova see it? Will Nonova go for it? That's the question. I don't think that the bomber engagement is necessarily too good for the bomber. I mean, it's not bad, obviously. It's going to do 73 to 79, taking, 2 damage in response. But what's the tank engagement? Let's just check the tank engagement too. So they would basically be like a 3 and a 2 HP anti-air here versus a 7 HP bomber. So what's the damage of like a 3 HP anti-air versus a 7 HP bomber? That's the real question. It's 27, so low end it would do 5, and then if you have a 2 HP, it would do 18, so potentially 3. So if the bomber went in and took this engagement, then there's engagement right here. Potentially the bomber could go down to 3 HP with a double anti-air sacrifice next turn. But also there would probably only be 1 anti-air because tank into here, then battlecopter into the anti-air would probably clear the anti-air or at least come very close. So the bomber would probably survive with like 5 HP, something like that. And then you'd be forced to buy an anti-air right here. But then tank comes up and attacks. I don't know. Advanced Wars has so many flipping variables to it that there is just no one set path for anything, folks. Anything can happen in Advanced Wars. Let's see what Nonova's plan is. He's going to one-shot the anti-air and he's going to attack the anti-air with the tank. That is a much better plan. Much better plan, all things considered. Now, the only reason I was thinking about putting this here is kind of blocks, but you know what? This is a much better plan. If you one-shot it, that makes sense. That makes sense, folks. Beautiful. All right, continuing on here. Beautiful clears. Beautiful clears indeed. Many more clears up north as well here. Alrighty, another battlecopter and a few more infantry on the field here. Hunch down to 13 units. Almost half of the value of Nonova at the moment. But he does have the tower shield. He's got the tower shield, folks. But unfortunately, due to Nonova's power bar at the moment, that is probably going to be the last tower shield of the entire game. Well, let's see. Let's see what he can do. Sacrifices infantry into the mech. Doesn't attack. Doesn't get the clear, but... okay, gets that clear. Alright, now the bomber is definitely not going to be able to attack any of the anti-airs down south. Tower shield definitely changes the game a little bit here, folks. Yeah, like bomber into anti-air scenario right here. If you swap it out, yeah, that's a negative trade. So we're not going to be taking that trade for sure. But now would be a really good time to send the bomber up north and threaten the classiest unit in Advance Wars. Ooh, Battlecopter into Classy Boy engagement. So it doesn't do a lot of damage. It only does 1 damage, but that is going to cost Hunch in repairs. So Hunch is supposed to get 18,000 funds this turn. Let's see what his actual funds is, because he's healing an infantry and he's healing the medium tank down to 16.2. Not a whole lot of money to work with, but it's not too bad. And plus, Nonova's anti-air right by the airport is a huge problem. That guy's got to be dealt with, and he's got to be dealt with now. And what a better unit to do it with than the classiest unit in Advance Wars, folks. Beautiful. All right, interrupts the captures that are happening. Doesn't get the clear on the tank with the 1 HP Battlecopter. Highly unfortunate. Loses the one-on-one engagement. Very unfortunate. And now it is Nonova's turn on day 17 here. Mech taking out the anti-air. Got another 2-hit right here. Oh, loses the tank. Doesn't get the clear. Oh, and now the bomber is down south. Threatening the base. Market crash. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is very dangerous territory, folks. There is nothing. There is almost nothing down south that can help Hunch. His base is under severe threat right now. What is going to be the plan? He's going to have to bust out like double anti-air here. Oh, anti-air tank. Okay. Anti-air tank. This has 140% defense. 110% offense. 120% offense if he uses the co-power. There is a small chance that something could work out here. You know what? There's a hit here. You know what? I think maybe there is some chance of blocking the base, but I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. Well, let's see. Let's see what Nonova goes for here. Strikes down an infantry. Strikes the tank. Alright, he's not going to go for a base block or anything. He's not going to be cheeky like that. But he is bringing the bomber into the center of the map. This bomber has gone absolutely uncontested. Barely even had any threat at the moment here. But tower shield has been popped. What was the power bar? I gotta double check that again. Okay, so the power bar. Oh, Nonova bought his units before popping the market crash. So that completely ruins the market crash. Definitely a panic buy, allowing Hunch to get the tower shield. 55,900 value to 96,800. 24 units to 16. Can Hunch hold out here? He's definitely in the winning position. He's 2 properties ahead, but there's 11 days left in this game, folks. Can he do it? Interrupting the capture. Destroying the mech. The macho mech Randy Savage, folks. He's gone. He served the army of Nonova very well, but this is the end of the line for him. And just keeping the classy boys safe from the bomber, folks. This is what it's all about. It's all about keeping your classy boys alive, folks. Alright, taking some engagements, but they are not very good engagements due to the added defense over here from Hunch. The attacks down south continue. The attacks up north continue. Taking a few more engagements. Bomber now threatening the north. Strikes down an infantry, but only does 6 damage due to that defense, folks. So not really too much damage. I think this was a join cap down here as well. Yeah, that's a join cap. So this property right here, looks like it's going to be Nonova territory here very soon. I don't think Hunch is going to be able to get a double tap on that unit. Unless he goes in with the battlecopter. Oh, and that's just enough. Just enough to stop the cat for one more turn. That is just going to be money in Hunch's pocket. Using the anti-air to strike down tanks. Absolute Chad moves, folks. But 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Definitely got to make these moves. Definitely got to make them work, make them worthwhile, make them worthwhile. But ends the turn with 51 seconds, so actually did pretty good for time here. Classy Boy is now exposed to the Classy Boy of the Sky. There could be a Classy Boy of a Sky engagement right now to the classiest unit in Advanced Wars by Web. But if he does that, he loses the bomber. So, you know, you got some choices to make here, folks. Oh, it goes all the way down south and strikes the anti-air. Is that out of range? Oh, it's not. He's going to have to block. At this point, it would probably be really worthwhile to block with both. Both join them together right here. That's all you can do. Otherwise, he's definitely going to be losing that bomber. Is he going to join? Oh, he doesn't join. This guy doesn't wrap around. Okay, never mind. That's perfectly fine. We don't have to worry about it. He's safe. He's safe. Once again, fantastic placement over here from Nonova. Pops the market crash at the right time this time. He's got the money in the bank, folks. 24,000. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 Nova. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? He busts out the Soiled Abomination. The Soiled Abomination has entered the fray here, folks, stinking up the battlefield with its pure filth. Filthing up the place. Absolutely disgusting. The Soiled Abomination is the kind of person that would walk through a mud pit, then come to your house and kick his shoes up on your clean white couch. And then not apologize for it. And then eat your cheese. Use your toilet. And not flush. And leave those little scummy marks on your refrigerator with his little grease hands. That's what the Soiled Abomination does. And I think he's going to be greasing up this battlefield here very, very soon. Let's see what he manages to do. Hunch, 2 minutes and 51 seconds on the clock. Definitely has potential to clear many units here. Lots of injured units on the field. Even attacks the recon here. Is that out of range? It is. Oh, lordy poo. Oh, lordy poo. I almost had a thought. And it wasn't going to be a good thought, folks. I almost thought that maybe that was going to be it for our good friend. But he pulls through. Day 21. Nonova sends his battlecopter somewhere. We don't know where it went. There it is. It went to the 4 HP infantry. Gets the clear on the 4 HP infantry. Now does a bomber that is running out of fuel and ammo and a tank clear an anti-air? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see what... Oh, here we go. It's actually right here. Nope, this is tower shield. 4 HP does not do 30% damage. Doesn't. Right? No, it doesn't. Not even close. Not even worth the attack. Because then he just retreats and then he brings this one here and attacks. Even if he has to base lock himself, I mean, that guy's doomed. So yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I'm curious to see where the Soiled Abomination is going to go, though. It's obviously going to be going up north and threatening our favorite unit in Advanced Wars. Bomber taking the safe engagements again. Busts out an APC, folks, action-packed combat in order to keep that bomber in the battle. Folks, this might be the most electrifying bomber in Advanced Wars by Web Entertainment. Not even lying to you, folks. This guy has been getting it done. But this Classy Boy has also been getting it done. Like, both have gone uncontested this entire game until now. The Soiled Abomination up north is definitely testing our classy friend here. So hopefully our classy friend can come out on top, but we shall see, folks. Oh, We got the Classy 2 Neo Tank engagement, folks. I would have much preferred to see the battlecopter go in and attack first, but I will take it. Let's see how much damage it does. Oh, 6-6. So unfortunate. Now, this was mostly 6-6 due to the forest. It's 20% defense versus the Classy Boy's 10% defense. Unfortunately, the Soiled Abomination's firepower is just greater than the classiest unit in Advanced Wars by Web, which is very unfortunate. Classy Boys need to find the Neo Tanks in locations where they can do maximum damage. Today was not that day, unfortunately, so I'm very curious to see if the battlecopter is going to be coming in, doing an engagement here, or if that is going to be the end of our Classy Boy. Either way, I am very sad. We're all sad. Everything is sad. Base blocks himself, Hunch. There we go. Uses the battlecopter. And we have an artillery on the field over here from Hunch. First artillery of the game, folks. You love to see it. Oh, and the mech. The mech. Ah, the Macho Mech Randy Savage takes out the classiest unit in Advanced Wars. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Well played. Well played. He brings the bomber up north. 7 fuel. We are getting in super danger territory up here, folks. Luckily, the APC is in range to get a refuel on that guy, but we will see if it's gonna work. We'll see. We'll see if it's gonna work, folks. 17 properties now. This is an even game. Even Steven. That's what they say. Stops the capture of the property. Definitely what you need to be doing right now. 125%. Gotta stop those caps when they arrive. Alrighty, folks. Day 23, APC refuels the bomber, who has still yet to take damage. Hasn't taken a smidge of damage this entire game. Just getting multiple KOs. This guy's an absolute flippin' unit. Absolute unit. Nonova once again finding those great positions here. And there's a property being threatened right now. And that is very likely that that could go through. Highly likely, actually. Let's see. Got the tower shield. Ooh, we found the spot. He found the spot. Gets the KO and gets the interrupt that needed to happen. And that needed to happen right now. 100%. Fantastic. Finds a break. Eliminates 2 battlecopters and an infantry. And the Macho Mech Randy Savage. Takes him out of the game. And now Hunch is looking pretty good down south, but the north is definitely about to get hit. But the bomber cannot really do too much damage overall. However, Neo Tank, if it goes and sits on the comm tower, will allow the bomber to go over here and do some damage. But he is going to be fighting into tower shield, folks. So he's not going to do a whole lot of damage. Brings the bomber down south. Wait. Okay. He protects the bomber. Oh my god, this flippin' bomber. The bomber! The bomber, folks. This guy's unstoppable. He has not been hit this entire game. Nonova might actually be the greatest bomber user in Advanced Wars by Web. He's got 1 bomber, but this bomber has just been doing so much work. What an absolute flippin' gosh darn legend. But Hunch is not giving up. Hunch is not the sort of guy to just give up willy-nilly. He is going to be holding on to this game. Day 25. All he needs to do is hold on to the properties and he can still acquire a draw. Let's see. Day 25 already, folks. Nonova now moves something. What was that? That was a mech. We have another mech eliminating another anti-air. And then the tanks and the Soiled Abomination are going up doing damage. Another battlecopter has been eliminated from the game. And this APC, the action-packed combat, man. We're out of time. We're out of time. I don't even think we got any buys that turn, folks. Nonova ran out of time, was unable to buy any units. But that means he banks up 20 flipping K. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Now, day 26. This is a very tricky spot to be in, because in order to actually win the game, you need to start capturing something on day 29. Capture it on day 30 at the very latest. So something needs to be captured. If this lab is captured in the middle of the map here, then that would mean that overall the win would go to Nonova. 2 properties are being threatened down south over here from Hunch. Oh my god, folks. We have just witnessed one of the greatest things in Advanced Wars by Web here, folks. Let's take a look at that again. We need to take a look at it from this point. Anti-air comes down, clears the infantry, battlecopter like an absolute legend, moving in here, attacking the Soiled Abomination, followed up by the 5 HP tank. Now, 5 HP tank versus the Soiled Abomination does 8 to 12% damage. We do not know what the hit point value of this Neo tank is. Potentially, if he's at max health, there could only be a 50% chance of this working, folks. But Hunch takes the roll, gets the clear, interrupts the mech. One more day, folks. He's got one more day to play with here in order to figure out a way to destroy the mech. But it does need to be destroyed next turn, because that is going to be captured, down to 1, potentially join capped. We'll have to figure out a way to full destroy it. And that is like, that's just it. It has to be done. Did he capture? Yes, he did. Okay. And Nova. It's a capturing man. That's what he does. Is he going to move? He has to move in with the bomber. He has to move in with the bomber down south and interrupt the cap. Yeah, it has to happen. 100%. Oh, we bust out a fighter. Very curious. Bust out a market crash, but it's not enough. He buys the units. Did he buy the units again? I think he bought the units again before he bought the market crash. Okay. Hunch, we have another chance here, folks. He's going to be capturing that property. All he has to do, he's got to block. He's got to block that property. That's the only thing. The only chance he's got is to block that property. Let's see. Let's see if he can do it. Multiple attacks. He cannot stop the capture of the lab, so it is all coming down to this property right now. He needs to get it. He needs to block it. I think it's possible, folks. I do not really see... Well, yeah, he's only got 1 attack here. That's not enough. He could potentially move the tank, move the bomber up here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he moves the tank. He brings the bomber up. He attacks. Is it going to be enough? Can a bomber clear the 8 HP tank? Yes, he can. That's all he has to do. He's got to move this, and then attack. If he can do that, I think he secures the win. I think he secures the win if he does that, folks. That's all he's got to do. And then tank moves up. Ooh, down to 3. Down to 3. So he captures it. This would go down to 10. Ooh, this is tense. This is very tense, folks. And now the fighter has entered the battlefield. Day 28. It's a 17-17 game. Still going for those captures, though. Brings the infantry down. Okay, he's going for a double tap on the tank. But the bomber is in place. The bomber's in place right now to stop the capture. The anti-air is not in place. Okay, it's all up to this bomber. This bomber goes over here. It interrupts the capture. And that should be game, right? Why would the bomber attack that? Okay, he's going up with the anti-air. Okay. Alright, that's fine. But he doesn't go for the attack. I think he's done enough damage. He's definitely done enough damage right now that the capture can't go through. Like, it's impossible. There's no way. There's no way that the capture can go through. It's day 29. Oh my god, the bomber finally took damage. The classy boy of the sky has finally taken damage. It's happened, folks. He's busting out APCs. Day 29. It is a 17-17 game. But Nonova has the lab. He's got the lab, folks. He interrupts the capture. And then the rest of Hunch's army in the center falls. Day 30. Busting out more APCs, folks. Action-packed combat. That's what it's all about. Nonova now taking his final turn here. Destroying some units. Capping a property and busting out a pipe seam. Using the final market crash of the game. And that is it, folks. Nonova is the winner here today after a long and grueling battle. What an absolutely fantastic game from these two players. Hunch basically fighting behind the entire game, but holding out for so long and only losing at the very end to having the lab get captured. Well fought. Well fought indeed. Congratulations to Nonova for the win. For those of you that don't know, I believe Nonova is a content creator over on YouTube, so I will put a link in the description below where you can check out his channel and see some of the stuff that he does over there. Hopefully you enjoyed the content today, folks. If you did, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.